Hey guys, earlier this year Prism released OLED TVs, and to accompany them they've also released two sets of soundbars. There's a budget version and also this more premium version which is called Symphony. We're going to check it out and give you a feel for it to see if you should actually invest. Realistically, buying a TV nowadays, especially when you spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on a TV, you should really invest at least a third of that money into a good sound system. Otherwise, you're kind of giving yourself a disservice. While having great and high quality TV is nice on your eyes, your ears are missing out on some high quality sound. Without further ado, let's open it up and see what we got inside the box. Bunch of accessories. Brackets. So it seems like in the box we have the soundbar itself. We have a nice and reasonable size subwoofer. It's not too heavy. You can actually see the speaker at the bottom, which is pretty cool. Then we have some little brackets, like the ears. You can mount this on the wall. Manual with a pretty typical remote. Power cables, screws. It actually includes little batteries. I'm actually surprised how many devices nowadays don't come with batteries. So weird, but that's definitely a plus. It's actually Mitsubishi batteries, not some no name. And we got a short HDMI cable. On the back of the actual soundbar, we have power in, which is just a shotgun style power connector. We have coaxial and optical connections. USB, probably for upgrading firmware. And we also have auxiliary in and HDMI out, which is the TV eARC and ARC, as well as HDMI in 1 and 2. This is actually very interesting. I need to see which HDMI type this is. But for example, if you have a Blu-ray player or an Xbox or PlayStation or even a PC, you could potentially plug them into here and then have the soundbar drive your TV. So if your TV doesn't support the likes of Dolby Atmos, you can actually have a third-party device like an Apple TV stream Dolby Atmos content into the soundbar, and then the soundbar would pass on the video over to the TV. Therefore, you can still benefit from all the features that Dolby Atmos provides without the need of upgrading your TV. It's a niche case, but there are some people who may have an older TV and want to utilize the latest format. I like how slick it is. It's pretty wide, so it provides more surface area for the sound to dissipate. We've got a few buttons on top. So we've got the power. This looks like an input button and a plus and minus for the volume. This little bracket is actually here for wall mounting. So there's two little screw holes on each of the sides. I'm not a big fan of wall mounting soundbars or any sound devices because they rattle and you need to kind of dampen it. But there's an option for you there. Also, the subwoofer, it's wireless. On the back it has a little pair button and the same style of the power cable connection. On the bottom we have the speaker itself. So we'll set this up in our living room now and see how it performs. With it now set up in front of our TV, I must say it looks pretty good. We'll place the subwoofer on the side of the couch and there was no signal issues. Once turned on, it automatically paired and filled the room with bass. Let's now go through the specs for this system. This is a 5.1.2 channel surround sound system with 760 watt peak power output when combined with all the speakers. And speakers it has, 11 of them in fact, 4 upward firing, 4 front and 2 surround, plus the wireless subwoofer. More speakers is not always better, but when we're talking about sound separation, especially in smaller spaces, it is certainly beneficial to have a few more. This amount of speakers allowed Prism to work with Dolby and deliver support for a whole Dolby range of standards, making it really appealing soundbar at this price point. More on the performance a bit later on. When setting it up, I noticed that the subwoofer is actually pretty light in comparison to our daily driver from Samsung. I'm also not the biggest fan of cable connections on the back of the soundbar. Since they are all flush with the back of the unit, the cables stick out and you're not able to push it all the way back to the wall. This may be important for those who have kids or pets and want to hide the cables. On the flip side, since it features upward firing speakers, you should ensure that there is nothing above it, covering the sound path. While we're on the topic of sound paths, I'm really impressed with the sound clarity and with vocals in particular. Since there is a proper central channel, all vocals come straight at you as expected and don't get muffled with the rest of the sounds. This soundbar also has a bunch of EQ modes, which include movie, music, news out of all things, as well as sport and gaming modes. You can also do some fine adjustments for treble and bass using the remote. I also like that it has front-facing screen in comparison to our Samsung unit, that for some genius reason has it at the top where it is impossible to see from sitting position while doing some fine adjustment. This Prism soundbar screen can also be dimmed and turned off with the remote. I wish there was an option to turn it off while there are no changes being made, and when you make any sort of adjustment for it to come on for a few seconds then go dark again. Earlier I also mentioned that there is a USB at the back, which is likely for maintenance. Well, after going through the manual, it looks like you can actually use playback from the USB, but it has a note, not all devices are compatible. I tried using USB SSD drive with no luck, as well as a standard USB stick. I actually reformatted it to 3 different file systems and it still didn't work, so your mileage will vary. I suspect most people will use it in one of 2 modes, as a standard soundbar for the TV using the ARC, also known as audio return channel. This way you can turn on the soundbar and control its volume using your TV remote, making it work seamlessly. Another mode will likely be Bluetooth to stream some music. Do bear in mind that Bluetooth has limited range, so if you want to play music from your phone and walk around the house, it may have some signal interruptions. I've certainly experienced that when taking my phone into another room. So how does it actually sound? Well, even though the soundbar and subwoofer seem pretty small, they deliver plenty of volume and are pretty good at sound separation. It isn't as crisp as some higher end units we've reviewed over the years, but it's no way bad. Top firing speakers as well as the addition of Dolby Atmos makes it a really good movie watching experience. Do bear in mind, to get most out of it, the content itself needs to be high quality and in the right format. One last thing, I'm normally not too thrilled about manuals that come with any kind of electronics these days. They're normally either too brief or too complicated. However, the one that comes with Symphony is just right. It covers all the main features as well as things to consider, like settings to choose for optimum Dolby Atmos experience, as well as a bunch of troubleshooting guides, so someone who's new to all of this can feel comfortable about setting it up. To sum it all up, I think Prism Plus nailed it with this soundbar for the budget. It has a good set of features for standard user who's upgrading for built-in TV speakers or lower end unit, and having Dolby Atmos as well as large speaker array at this price point is really astonishing. For those who feel this unit is too expensive, I recommend checking out the reviews for the cheaper Flow soundbar from Prism. Personally, I hope they work on a slightly more premium soundbar, which includes the option for additional surround speakers, as well as some sort of casting technology like Chromecast to make it a bit more integratable with the smart home ecosystem. But other than that, there's not much more I could recommend improving at this price point. If you want to check out any of the items covered in the video, the links are in the description below. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up and subscribe for more. We'll see you guys in the next one.